and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
Is so ugly, when she look out of the window, she got arrested for mourning. Your mom.
Okay. All right, don't talk about my mom again, okay?
Let me tell you something. Your mama, she's so stupid, she thinks that Manuel Labor is the name of the president of Mexico. Your mama is so dumb, she thinks that Kidney Stones is a Rolling Stone tribute band.
Gooch, I'm serious. You're starting to cross the line. Don't talk about my mother again, all right?
Your mama is so fat that when she holds ass, she got to take 3 trips.
Gagoots, are you serious? Okay, Gagoots. You win. You can talk about my mom anytime you want, man.
That's right. I win. That's all right. That's so nice.
How?
That's so nice. Your mom is...
If you can't be good, be bad. All right, Tuesday night, once again, good times, bad times. We have a very special show tonight. We have, as a co-host, a good friend of mine for the last 20-something years, Mr. Chris Williamson, comedian.
23 years next month.
23 years. Time is flying. And we have a special guest also tonight. Joining us in the studio will be Rob White in just a few moments. But, Chris, I wanted to ask you, I know you're going to the doctor and you're having all these problems with your health. You look good, but you're not feeling too good.
No, I'm falling apart. Yeah. I messed up my shoulder, and, I have these calcifications on my shoulder blade.
Okay.
And I asked how it happened. He basically said, age. You're getting old. Just like falling apart.
This goes out to Chris Williamson. It's the DJ in me. I made you laugh, didn't I?
I thought you were only like 70s classic rock. I wasn't expecting that.
All right, so so you have to wait till you have some problems with your blood work and stuff?
Well, so here's the deal. So I'm supposed to have shoulder surgery,
right?
But now I find out I'm type 2 diabetic and my blood work, so I can't have the surgery now. So I'm basically eating no carbs. I'm ready to kill someone. I haven't had a carb in like a week,
right?
I saw French fries the other day. I got excited. I mean, it's brutal.
I could see it in your face. Now. I had a couple of jokes for you on the shoulder tonight, but I'm going to pass because I'm going to get clocked in the head.
No,
you look like you don't want to. Well, you had a problem holding the mic. I mean, that's how bad it is, right?
Yeah, I can feel it sometimes. Yeah,
holding the microphone.
The mic, yeah.
Stand-up comedian can't hold a mic. So
I can, but it hurts.
Well, I do see that you're still getting out and being social. You were at the Mulcahy's.
Oh yeah,
with Roger and JP.
Every year they do that huge St. Patrick's Day show with O.L. Moore.
Awesome band.
So great. And this year they had a little guy a little person dressed up as a leprechaun that was singing My Sharona with the band.
Yeah. I saw the pictures. Yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
That's times. Funny. And then you go out to Katie's out in Smithtown?
Yeah, I go out there sometimes. There's this guy, Mark DiCarlo. He was the lead singer of Fuzzbubble back in the 90s. Right. They had a record deal. So he does a Van Halen show every so often. He did it the other night. It's amazing. And it's only David Lee Roth Van Halen. It's 1978 to 1984.
Old school.
Yeah, old school Van
Unchained,
Halen.
all that stuff.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah, that's that's my favorite Van Halen's the old school. I like all bands. I like Def Leppard's first album, first two albums the most. I think they get too crazy with the computer music or whatever you want to call it. And but that's my opinion. I know Hysteria is a great album and stuff, but if I had Wasted is great. Me and My Wine, and Def Leppard.
Yeah. So here's one of the things you have Vivian Campbell and Def Leppard, guitar player. He was in Dio. It's one of my favorite bands. So Vivian said the writing changed when Rick Allen lost his arm.
They had to.
Yep.
They had to.
Yeah.
That's one band that had to go that route.
Yeah, and it's cool that they stuck together and they waited for him, but
the whole thing
go to a different type of sound.
Yep. And they're still going at it. They're touring this summer.
Yeah, with Motley Crue again.
They're still having fun.
I feel like Vince Neil looks right now. That's kind of how it's going.
Yeah. One last thing I want to talk about. Very big night just happened. Last Friday was Eric Tartaglione's birthday, another great friend of ours.
Yeah.
We started comedy together.
Yeah.
And how nice was it that you opened up for him?
Yeah, I did. I opened for him in the Giggle Room. It was packed. It was great. And one of the coolest things, Eric goes to Mets fantasy camp every year.
Right.
So a whole bunch of his fantasy camp friends came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they were out, and they brought him a plaque for his birthday, and it had like a piece of Mike Piazza's baseball bat in the plaque. It was really cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Tim Gage also was on the show. Tim Gage
is awesome. Yeah, very funny. Yeah,
it was a good night.
Yeah.
Eric did like an hour, and it was because we're close, like I said. So afterwards, we're all kind of the fantasy guys and me and Eric's family, and we'll just kind of hang back at the bar for like an hour.
Special birthday for Eric, man.
Yeah,
Eric is one funny dude.
He says too. He's in his 60s, but he's in great shape. He's in better shape than me. I'm 10 years younger. You know, he takes care of himself.
So that's what's going on with Chris Williamson. Thanks for coming down tonight. We have a very special guest. I want you to come out because comedian to comedian, you guys are doing more stand-up than I am. Our guest tonight, Chris, bring him on.
Rob White, the very funny Rob
the very
White.
funny Rob
Thank
White.
you very much.
Very, very
Thank you
funny.
so much, guys.
You
Nice
were,
to be here.
And you were very busy, man. I'm looking at you. You're doing shows like sold out shows all over the place.
I'm just trying. I'm just trying to get up as much as possible. I don't think you could ever be busy enough in this. Just, in this stage of the game, I'm just hustling every night, anything, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Open mic, regular show, whatever they can give me. So I'm going for it.
Yeah, you're very busy, and Chris, you're just as busy. So you guys could probably talk more shop than I can.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I was going to say was how long you're doing it a good amount of time now, right?
Well, it's weird because I did it from, I'd say, about 25 to 30. I did it, so 5 years there. But then I stopped for 10, and now I'm back almost 2 years now.
Right.
So it's 7 years, but not
10 years
together.
You stopped for 10 years?
Yeah, I stopped for 10 years.
That
and,
was a fast 10 years, man. Because I remember when you started, I didn't realize that break was so long.
I mean, I did a little like undercover stuff here and there because during a little period of that, I was kind of talking earlier. I ran for fire district commissioner, which nobody knows what that is. Nobody has any idea. But until you get in trouble, then you're on the front page of Newsday. So. And when I was doing that, I had the hankering to do comedy again, and you can't just get up and do comedy as a fire commissioner. You say one thing that's taboo, and
they're on you.
Now they're trying to throw you out of office or whatever.
Right,
So
right. Yeah.
not that I'm that controversial, but what's controversy nowadays? Everybody's upset about something.
Right. Yeah.
Did you get a car as fire?
They did give you a fire district. Yeah, it was like an undercover. It was like a Secret Service edition Tahoe. It was all blacked out. They had lights, siren, the whole 9 yards, and it was weird though because I shouldn't have had any of that. I really shouldn't have.
No,
no, absolutely not. It's like, why do I have a siren? And they're like, don't use it. I'm like, don't use it. You high? This is the first thing I use.
Don't use the siren.
Oh, they got a PA system in it. You know how many times I used that?
Pull over.
I loved it, just screaming at people all day long. Yeah. So that was an interesting time.
Something I noticed about you kind of changed your image this year, right? Like I got booked to, you mentioned Katie's, right?
Yeah.
So they booked me to headline Katie's, and they said, Rob White's going to host. I said,
we
great.
did that together.
Right,
Yeah,
we did that together, right? And I said, great. And then it's okay, the host is here, and I'm looking at Rob, and I'm going, that's not Rob White. Right?
Yeah, you look different, right?
No,
you had a beard?
Yeah, because during COVID, I think I just kind of lost my mind. I think many people just lost their mind during COVID.
Yeah.
And I got to that point where I was like, whatever, if I can't have my hair cut, I'm not cutting anything. So I
Right.
had long hair, a long
Yeah.
beard. I looked like the Unabomber or like a like a drunken sailor. Everyone was like, you look like an old sea captain. So then I started wearing like a sea captain hat and stuff. I don't know.
It was our way of protesting because
Yeah.
I grew this during COVID. I had a short beard, but
yeah, you're like, what? Screw this. You want me to live like this? I'm going to live like an animal.
Yeah,
and
protest.
But then one day I was like, all right, now you look crazy.
Yeah.
You look like a feral human. So
it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to have people trust me that don't know me.
If I saw Petroni, I would cross the street. I didn't know him. I mean,
just the maintenance alone, I'm sure.
It's
Like
a pain,
how many times a week you have to wash your hair?
found
everybody
the-
washes their hair, but when you have long hair, you have to wash your beard,
Yeah.
use beard balm, all this craziness. I'm like, no.
I found a French fry in my beard. And I haven't had French fries in over a week.
The seagulls are picking at you.
you were in a suit too. I
Oh
think,
yeah,
though.
because then I went from that to extreme opposite. I'm like, all right, let me throw everyone off. I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to clean my act up, and then I started going in a suit and all that, which I like. I kind of like wearing the suit. But
On stage, doing
yeah,
stand-up?
sometimes I like doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
it all kind of depends on the occasion. But if you're hosting the show or if you're getting booked by the club to do a show, I feel like, well, why not show up in a
Respectful.
suit? And
Yeah.
like a guy the other day, I came out and he was like, "Thank you for wearing that. You look like you're an entertainer." Like, oh, okay. It's got its drawbacks though, because then people see me dressed up and they think I'm going to be some kind of Jackie Gleason character.
Right.
And the first jokes that come out of my mouth, they're like, "What happened to Jackie?" So they don't know how to take me. I don't know. I'm still figuring it
When
out.
I show up to do a stand-up comedy show, the club owner usually tells me the dumpster's out in the back.
Yeah, right. Take the garbage out.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
you got the leather on and
Yeah.
all that when you go.
Yeah.
I had a story. This stuck with me. I was doing comedy two years, maybe not even 2 years, and I met Bobby Collins, right? My idol,
yeah.
my idol from VH1.
You met him,
in the 90s.
right in the beginning, man.
Right in the beginning, I met Bob, and he was. I can't tell you how nice Bobby Collins was to me, and I met his wife and my wife at the time, and his wife kind of hit it off. And Bobby talks about he has a special needs daughter, Hallie, and my ex-wife's a speech pathologist, whole 9 yards. We just really hit it off. And he gave me a spot, on a Saturday night. He told me I could do a spot with him, right?
Yeah.
But I showed up. I had nice jeans and a button-down shirt, and he was kind of like, I gave you a Saturday night spot. You didn't wear a jacket. You gotta wear a jacket.
It's the old school right there.
Old school, yeah. And Bobby's wife was like, yeah, but Bobby, you're not in a jacket. He's like, yeah, but I'm established here already. He's not, he should wear, and that kind of stuck with me. So I do tend to wear like a jacket. And
it's true. You know what? And it does serve its purpose. It does kind of make you look more like a professional part of the show. And to some degree, I think it was Kevin Downey was saying, I forget who he had talked to, but wearing a suit is almost like gives you permission to do things above and beyond what other people are doing, because you look respectful. You look like, oh, he looks like a nice guy. So then when you say something that's a little, off key, it's like they don't get mad at you. I don't know if that's true or not. Like it's almost like when you have a ventriloquist puppet. Like I didn't say it, the puppet said it. Like how can I have said something offensive? I'm wearing a suit.
Right. It's like there's this new comic. I saw her about a year ago. She's from Jersey. Her name was Katie Blue. She looks like the girl next door. Right? Okay. She looks like nice. And then when she does comedy, she's talking about heroin.
Oh my God.
And you don't see that coming with the way she looks, So it's true. Like there is that.
It's got its ups and downs. I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to people underestimate you, but sometimes I think maybe that throws them off too. They think you're going to be a clean comic, and then the first curses that come out of your mouth.
I think in the real world, if you see a guy in a suit and a tie, like that's why salesmen wear them when you go to a store.
Right.
It gives some kind of weird trust,
Yeah, it's a professional.
Right.
I don't know. I still play around with it. I'm not sure. I'm not committed to either side of it yet. Still trying to figure it out. But I'm definitely not going the drunken sailor look, because I don't know. Unless I'm driving a boat, why are they going to pay me looking like that?
I saw too. You've been doing the move from like you were hosting, but now you're closing, right?
I'm all over the place now. Yeah,
I say I'm like a utility man. I can host or close. I don't care.
No, right? I don't mind. Hosting is kind of tough. I mean, I feel like there are people that are really good at it, that are way better at it than I am, because it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of crowd work involved. There's a lot of just being comfortable. But then there's this all weirdness. I feel like whenever you host, they don't necessarily feel like you're a comedian. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I felt like many times I've been up there as the host, and I feel like they don't think of me as the comics. They think of me as like a guy that's introing the show, the host, and that's it.
Right.
I hosted a show Friday night, and it was like pretty big agent or whatever. I was hosting as with two other comics, and I was real excited. I had a good set, but for the first, I had to do 30. I did 30 up front.
Wow, as the host, 30
as the host, because there were three of us on the show, and for the first like 10 minutes of my set. They go, look, we're going to have, I don't want to say where this place was. We're going to have a lady, when we're ready to start, a lady's going to go up and make introductions, then pull you up. I'm like, okay. I'm sitting in the green room. Nobody said anything to me. All of a sudden, I had this lady on stage. I'm like, oh, crap. I jump up, and she pulls me out, and I get on stage, and they're still seating people as I'm taking the stage.
Oh, yeah.
So there is, like hosting a show, there's an art behind it. You have to be ready. If anything goes wrong, the waitresses or the club manager, they're looking for you in between the comics.
Right, yeah. You're going to be the guy that's like, go up there and do 10 in between, stretch, and that's a lot of pressure. I feel like that's probably the hardest job out of all of the comedy jobs, whether you're feature, headliner. No, it's definitely the host.
You know what I would find, and it's nerve-wracking for me, would be introducing the comic and getting their name wrong. That's the one. I've done it. DJing, I've done it, and it's terrible. It's a horrible feeling, and you can't take it back.
My friend Chuck Fox, I've met him 1,000 times. I was hosting a show one night, and he was doing a spot, and I was going to call him up, and I just blanked on his last name. Chuck Fox, known him forever.
Easy name.
And I ended up calling him Chuck Foxworthy, because that's what came into my head. Yeah. I just blanked, though. It just happens sometimes,
And if you have one of those showcase shows where you have to introduce... I've done a couple of those recently where I'm just introducing a whole bunch of people, like City Comics. City Comics have some of the toughest names, and you're just going through this list of people, and you're forgetting, and you're mispronouncing, and you feel like...
I'm terrible with names. I'm horrible with names. I just DJ'd a party for a school, and each class came in with their teacher, and I had the list of teachers' names, and I actually had the PTA president stand next to me and tell me the name in my ear, and I'd repeat it. Because
Get it right,
I messed up 2 or 3, and they realized they got to stand next to me.
That's funny, too. You have a new comic that's doing it 3 months, and they're giving you 12 credits. You know what I mean? It's like, give me 1 credit. Give me 1 credit.
That's the other part. You have to remember their name. You have to remember their credits. And if you say their name wrong, it's like, and half the credits, too. If you're on a showcase show, let's be honest, your credits, like, do they really, you know what I mean? You can say anything. Yeah, this guy right there,
There's things I don't like too. Like, I mean, Governors is like on Long Island. Governors is it, right? Levittown, Belmore, Bohemia. But I've been in other areas where it's like they want to mention other comedy clubs, like in the area. I don't want to mention another comedy club at, you know, someone else's comedy club and things like that. Like, they don't always think that way.
Yeah, that is true. I never thought about that because the last thing you want to do is let me advertise for that other place down the block. Like, no.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he does clubs and colleges and places all over the tri-state area. There you go.
And the funniest thing is, because I used to host a ton of those shows too. The same ones that you've hosted, like where there's 15 comics on a show.
Right.
It goes 2.5 hours, you know? And I remember this one night, it was particularly long. I think there were like 18 comics on this show. And then they're like, hey, one of my favorite comics, Mick Thomas. Mick Thomas wants to do a spot. Can he do a spot? Yeah. So I remember I go to Mick, like, what do you want me to say when I bring you up? He goes, doesn't matter. That was it.
He's one of the best. I mean, I've been watching him for years. Mick Thomas, you said Tim Gage,
Downey,
Joe DeVito. I mean,
but none of them are
Kevin
big
Downey
with the
Jr.
credits and stuff. It's typically on those showcase shows where it's the newer comics that's why I learned to say, give me one credit.
Right. Because you don't, and even if you have the best credit on earth, I mean, even if you're like Jerry Seinfeld, you get, your credit gives you a minute of, all right, we'll listen to him for a minute. But if you're not funny after a minute, it doesn't matter.
Right. Well, you back in the day when we started, we were doing coffee shops and stuff. You used to bring me up, this guy's on Law and Order, HBO's Oz. You named like 5 things. It's all impressive stuff. And I'm just background guy in these things, you know?
Yeah.
And I come on stage and I couldn't live up to the introduction. I come out and go,
It's just a totally different thing.
Big build-up.
Yeah. I feel like it's just you want to say something so it doesn't sound like you didn't care about the person. You don't want to just go up, this guy is a great guy. Have something nice to say, but still over the credits are just crazy sometimes, you know.
So you're pretty much out every weekend doing this now, right?
I try to just get out as much as possible, and if I don't have something, I'll try to get a guest spot, you know, because I feel like it's been 10 years of not being up on stage, and you know, I look at people that I was doing comedy with, and I'm like, oh my god, like they're so much bigger now. All right, I got to catch up to everybody. So just hustle.
How did you start? I mean, what made you start? What was you? Like,
we took a class.
Oh, you took a class.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I was, I was around my shop constantly, just cracking jokes, being funny in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
And so everyone's like, if you're gonna do this, you should go do stand up.
Where
like,
it belongs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I came down to Governor's John Trueson's class, and I took the class at the graduation show, and then you know I had some friends that did it, and they were like, you come to this mic, you come to that. The next thing you know, you're getting up as much as possible.
Same exact thing, pretty much for me. I worked in a school, and I was walking around. Same thing, time and place for things. I was cracking jokes, and you know, it was funny for a while, and then I became like the wise guy. You know, you don't want to be a wise guy, or they roll their eyes. Here he comes. You know, whenever I thought of something funny, I'd walk into a classroom. You know, like, I got it. You know. And they'd start closing their door and putting a chair in front of it, you know.
No, it's distracting. It's distracting. I mean, and I tattoo for a living, so, you know, in the tattoo shop doing that, when people are trying to actually do something permanent, you're like, hey, I got a good one right now. Let me make you laugh and move around in the chair. That'll be great for the job we do. No good. So, yeah, you know.
How'd you get into that? How'd you start tattooing?
Yeah, hold on one second. Now, does this make any sense to you? No?
Surfer music? Oh, Rolling Stones.
Hang Fire, Tattoo You. I had to play a song.
Okay.
I had to play a song on your introduction to tattoos.
I was thinking you were going to be, like you said Van Halen before. I thought it was going to be the Van Halen tattoo song. So I was like, that's not the song.
Well, I just picked any song off
that's
it.
funny.
That's Hang Fire.
I knew it was coming.
Tattoo You.
Oh, yeah. No, I got into it. I was born into it. It's a weird kind of a lifestyle, but my father's been tattooing since the 80s. You know, I got into it when I was a kid. I was 13 years old. He brought me in the shop and had me tattoo him on New Year's Day, and that was pretty much it. Like after that, it was, you know, okay, what are we doing this summer? Like that was the summer that computers had become like in everyone's house. It was like, oh, I'm going to go on AOL. I heard that's going to be message boards and chat rooms.
Like 95 or so, right?
Yeah, it was 93.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to do that. And he's like, you're not going to play with computers now. You come into the shop.
That's awesome, man.
And that was it. I spent every summer, not even in the shop with him, which is funny because he had 5 shops, and he's like, I'm going to put you in the one that's the furthest away from me. So it was cool. I got to experience it without having to be like under my dad's, you know.
Right.
supervision, sort of. And,
yeah.
But yeah, he had me out there with some of the craziest people in tattooing, and I just got to live that and learn that. And geez, now I've been doing it since I was 13. That's 30 years.
Wow.
It's crazy. I'm only 42, but it's 30 years of that. And my whole family's involved. My uncle tattoos. My sisters were both trying at one point.
Right.
My wife now. Me and my wife both own our own shop.
I saw that. Right.
It's a cool, fun business. I enjoy it.
Black Duck Tattoo.
Yeah, the Black Duck Tattoo Company.
In Selden, right?
Yep.
Selden, yeah.
Isn't there like can you make a mistake?
Oh God, yeah.
No, I didn't want to ask him that question.
Yes.
How does that work? Like, that's why I'd be afraid.
I didn't want to ask him that question.
I didn't want to ask.
You can. That's Tony's tattoo, right? No, that's Don's tattoo.
Don Sill, that's a great tattoo.
Yeah. That was his brother. It was a sketch. Who put that up? Was it Taz?
Taz made the original drawing.
Yeah. And I took that drawing that she made of his brother and did that up. But yeah, tattooing's interesting.
March 22nd.
March 22nd was...
That's when you did it.
Oh, that's when I did it, yeah.
I remember the big day. It was a big day.
My memory is shot. I can't remember anything. I forgot I was here a minute ago.
That's why I don't think I could do like tattoo. I'd be afraid. I would like cutting hair. I'd be afraid. That at least grows back. You know,
I was afraid for a long time, and then I became a volunteer fireman and did that. And I was on the ambulance riding as an EMT. And I remember the one medic just turned one day, when I was really nervous about being an EMT, and he's like, "What's the worst that could happen? They die?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, they die." And he's like, "Yeah, so they're gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing is helping out."
Yeah.
And I was like, well, geez, that didn't help me here at all, but it helped me in tattooing because I'm like, no, I'm never going to kill anybody in the tattoo chair. Worst thing that happens is you spell a name wrong,
right?
And then you know what? Now you're going to have to get a rose tattoo or something, I guess, right? It works its way out.
Yeah, well, I used to get nervous at some DJ jobs because we're talking working, and I always knew in the back of my head in 4 hours it'll be over, So like, you're getting ready for this big gig and, 4 hours you're going to be back, 5 hours I'll be back here having dinner with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
So for you can think the same way, but that person leaves and it's like, if they have a little mistake in their arm, it's like, no, I know.
You just get to this point where you're able to just kind of...
You get confident,
You
man.
can figure anything out, you know what I mean? Like, it's like going on stage. You've been on stage for so long. I mean, I'm sure there are moments where you forgot a bit or say the wrong thing, but you could roll with it and no one would ever know that it happened. You're just kind of like, wow, you messed up tonight? Like, no one noticed. The same thing with tattooing. You do something, all of a sudden you shade a little wrong spot. You're like, oh, no. All right, keep your mouth shut. You know what? I was going to add a little more detail to your tattoo. Detail's a great word, right? Detail, no, tons of you love detail, right? Sure, we're going to do back shading on this. I know it didn't have it, but it does now.
You can't have those Rodney Dangerfield eyes like...
No, you just keep going. Like, oh, this is fine. Like, you realize how many people screw up in their jobs, and you roll with it.
I did write down a couple of things about myself with tattoos, and and for you yourself. Did you ever talk somebody out of a tattoo? You ever have somebody come in? You're like, I don't think that's gonna. You have to come in with crazy ideas.
People come in with terrible ideas all the time. I mean, for me, my whole thing is it going to heal right? If it's going to heal right and it's going to be proper, then I'll do it. I never try to discuss, don't do this because of, I don't know. People want dumb stuff all the time. I feel like they kind of need to own that, you know? But I never try to talk them out of the actual idea. More of like, if I want on the side of my finger, well, it's going to fade off and look like crap.
Right.
Or, I want my girl's name. Well, that's really kind of bad luck. But, all right, if you really want the name, I'll do it.
I have two girls. So I want to do my daughter, because my friend did this. He had two girls, Grace and Sarah.
Oh, yeah, so it's on the side of the arms
like
when you put
this.
them out. Yeah. Yeah, but those are your kids. You know what I mean? They're always going to be your kids.
Exactly.
So, no, stuff like that I think is good, but people are always like, would you do, horrible racist stuff and things like that? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And like, why would you ever do that? That's terrible. And I go, it's not my decision. I don't agree with it. I totally disagree with doing some kind of Nazi tattoo, what have you.
Right.
But I also look at it like, I'm doing a service to the public by doing that tattoo. Quite honestly, you think about it, how many people are walking around with racist thoughts in their heads, and this guy wants to put it on his hand?
Now you know to stay away from him.
Yeah, now he's not going to be the ice cream man or the softball coach.
Right.
I'm helping out
You're
in society.
You're exposing his brain. You're exposing his brain.
You can't take that off, so go have fun in public with that.
So when I was about 18 years old, I had a friend of mine. He was dating my sister, actually. So he was like 22 or something. and he wanted to get a tattoo. I was like, yeah, let's go. Went to a tattoo place. Tattoos all over the wall. I don't know how your shop.
Yeah.
All
Coded tattoo design
for you to get ideas, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I paint every day.
He knew what he wanted. He got a tiger like the Coors Light, the tiger with the shield like type thing.
Tiger with the shield and Coors Light.
I don't know if it's Coors Light, but it's like it's a tiger with a shield.
This is like a commercial ad.
He got it on his arm right here. It looks cool.
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted, and I was in that room, and we made a deal that I'll get a tattoo. He went first because he knew what he wanted. And I'm looking at thousands of tattoos, and I didn't know what I wanted.
Overwhelming.
And he said, the guy came up to me. He's like, "Listen, I'm not tattooing you today. You're gonna come back because you don't know what the hell you want. And you're gonna be back here tomorrow with your mom, and she's gonna say, get this off my kid's arm.'"
It's true,
right?
It's true. I mean, sometimes you have to help guide people a little bit. I always ask them. I'm like, "Are you sure you really want to do that?" If you really want it, I'm going to do it. I never tell people, I won't. But unless it's in a bad place, I want the bottom of my foot tattooed. That's going to fade off.
Right.
What are you doing? Why would you want to do that? But yeah, if you're like, I really, really need this tattoo on my hand. Okay, if it's in a place that's going to heal right, we're doing it.
I like the one I just saw on your Facebook page. It's a sunflower. It says "Mom."
Oh yeah. A guy came in the other day. He wanted to do that.
I like
that.
A
little memory piece for his mom.
I was thinking about doing a memory piece for my mom, and then Don went and did a memory piece for his brother. I'm like, yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, stuff like that is always good because it's a good memory. You know what I mean? It's like it's part of your family. You're not gonna turn around and change. Not like you got a tattoo and it's, I don't know, like the Monkees or something.
Right.
And you're like, oh, can't believe I used to listen to the Monkees.
What do you think? Now I bought the cemetery plot next to my mom.
Okay.
Just because it was available. I was like, you know what? So I was thinking of getting a tattoo on my chest. It says "Mom" with an arrow pointing that way. And my dad bought one. and a tattoo because if anybody ever digs you up there, that's your mom next to you.
Yeah.
I always love those when people come in and get like, what did the guy got a little thing written on his toe? It says, "Take that damn tag off of me." Toe tag, just stuff that only the coroner's gonna see in like 40 years and laugh. People get dumb stuff. It's funny though. I think they're not supposed to be so serious. It should be a little goofy. Life is short. We're all gonna die.
I used to have a 9 to 5 corporate job, and
You have any tattoos?
no tattoos. So 9 to 5, I would oversee this department, and they were like marketing people. So he hires a guy that would go out like door knocking, door to door, for like home improvements, and the guy he hired had red like teardrops tattooed down his face.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going like, why would you hire that guy for face to face, door to door? He's like, I was desperate. So every time the guy went out knocking doors, people would call the cops. Like, yeah.
Well, because you don't want to like not hire him because how did he get the blood drops? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Does that mean something?
Yeah, I mean, generally, I don't know. To him, it might have been different, but usually teardrops of any kind or blood drops under your eye usually means that somebody who was really close to you passed away.
Right.
Or you killed someone.
That's how I took it.
I'm like, or you think you killed someone. Either way, you just like, hey, you got the job. Go out. Go bang down some doors. Have fun.
He's like, we really needed people. I'm like, well, maybe put him in the call center where nobody sees him. Like not door to door.
It's wild. Tattoos used to mean like you saw a guy with face tattoos. He did something. Now it's like, he's a SoundCloud rapper. Like, what? Right. I'm going to delete my tattoos. That's why I don't have anything like,
Who did your tattoos?
Oh, I've been tattooed by my father and people I've worked with, my wife.
Okay.
A lot of times now I try to find like the old timers of tattooing. I'm a big history buff, big into like the history of tattooing. So, I'll get tattooed by guys that are like, 70, 80 years old that are still doing it. And
Right.
I was like, what are you, crazy? Why would you let them? Because it's awesome. Like that guy was around during the fun days of tattooing. Back when it was like, bikers and sailors.
Right.
Now it's soccer moms.
I know.
Getting roses, right? They get roses on the back.
My girlfriend wants to get another tattoo now. For her mom passed away last year.
Oh, for her mom?
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that. What's funny with me is that my wife and I, we're like, it's an all or nothing kind of thing with us. Like we'll go out to buy a couch and we'll come home with like a whole first floor full of furniture. So with tattoos, like we both talk about it, and I know damn well it's not gonna, I know.
Walk around with a sleeve.
Right. If I go get one, she's gonna get one. And, we're crazy. Like it's either all or nothing. That's our personality.
It's fun though. I mean, what are we doing with our lives? You know what I mean?
So Rob, you might be seeing my wife and I a lot.
Yeah, come on down. We'll do it.
That was a real concern, though, because I have like an addictive personality.
Right.
So if I get one, I'm going to get 30.
Exactly. My friend did that. My friend, he's got the sleeves, and Iron Maiden and all Iron Maiden stuff. And
right.
he went from one tattoo, now he's got it all over the place. It looks cool.
People go crazy. I swear, and there's an addiction to it too.
Is there?
That's a weird thing because I've seen it a couple of times where I'll tattoo somebody, and I could tell there's something a little bit different, and you talk to them for a while, and they're like, "Oh, I'm in the program. I used to drink, or used to whatever," and okay, and
so they switched it over.
Yeah, and it's so weird because like you've heard of people like, okay, I don't drink anymore, so now you go to the gym all the time,
right.
or whatever, they
something else to take its place.
But tattooing is a weird one because now I'm like, all right, you're done. Like, no, I just need a little more color over here. And they'll talk to you like the same, like, no, just a little bit of color. And you're like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to. Like, wow, this is a lot.
You have to talk them off the cliff, right?
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, fine, just for 5 minutes, I got to run the needle on you. Hey, you feeling it? The therapy session's done.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
Don't let it ink out. Just like, zzz,
yeah, you're like, we're done. All right. Yeah, it's bizarre business, but I love it.
One thing I was wondering, and I wonder with my friend who got the tattoo. What's the longest that you can sit there and tattoo someone? Like, is there?
Oh man,
what's
you can
your
go forever. You can go forever. I don't like tattooing one person for a long period of time.
Right.
To me, that just it's painful, and so you're going to inflict pain on somebody for hours on end. That's crazy. The longest I ever went, I think, was 21 hours tattooing.
Straight?
Yeah, we started off. I started off at 10 in the morning, and then I ended whatever 22 hours was later. And I did. As far as I know, no one's ever been able to challenge it. But I have the record for Suffolk County for most tattoos, first and second. So I did one. Number one was 50 tattoos, and then I beat that with 51 tattoos.
Wow!
But that was right after 9/11. After 9/11 happened, everyone wanted a tattoo for commemoration.
Patriotic.
Yeah.
So we had done these little tiny designs and did that for donation to the Red Cross. So that was a lot of tattooing that day. And that was just me. I mean, the shop, everyone else was working too. So everyone else was pulling these 20, 30 tattoos.
So in your shop, you could have how many people? You're set up.
Well, that was my dad's. That was my dad's shop at the time.
Right,
and he's got the largest shop on the island. It might be even New York State. I don't know. Cliff's Tattoo is huge, and he's got about, I'd say, 16 tattooers working there. Wow. Not all at one time. Right. It was pretty impressive.
So,
do you do piercings too, or just tattoos?
No, not anymore. My wife was doing that at our shop for a while, but it's just, you know what it is? It's a pain because it's constantly got to be fixed, and my piercing fell out, and what's wrong with it? And plus, you can't tattoo anybody under the age of 18 in New York State. Right. That's against the law. But piercing, if they get parental consent, they could come in. So now you got 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids coming in the shop with their parental consent, and it's not like we're in some sort of old-timey biker bar or something of that nature, but it's still an adult environment, and you don't want giggling 13-year-old girls just, oh my God,
The reason I ask, my friend's wife has a lot of tattoos, but now she's into piercings.
Right.
She just got a piercing in like a delicate area.
Oh, yeah.
So people want tattoos in weird places sometimes, right?
People do, but it's almost like it's its own world on top of it. Like people that do strange stuff like that, they all know each other, and it's like, yeah, you go to that guy. And I'm like, I have no desire to tattoo someone's butthole red, or See, I mean, it's like, well, you can't do it red. Like, nah, I could. I could do a lot of things, but I'm not doing that.
See, I was wondering, like, where would you go with that kind of stuff?
It just becomes like, I mean, you have enough skin on your body. Right. If there's like 3 or 4 places that I don't need to go there. I just don't, someone just tattoo on their butt, whatever, but like, I don't want to tattoo someone's.
See, that's why I try to tell my wife, that's the world outside our house. My wife thinks I'm crazy because I like to make ice. I make apple crisp and put it on top of vanilla ice cream. She thinks I'm nuts. What man makes apple crisp?
That's nice.
And then you guys are talking about piercing body parts that,
Yeah.
The real world of sickos, and I'm sick for making apple crisp.
But this lady I know that got this piercing, I mean, she's like soccer mom, she's got kids, it's not like...
What I'm saying, the weirdest people are the most normal...
Right, soccer mom.
People. Like, I would see people, and, I knew a guy, and he was a fire department guy, and he had like a dozen piercings in his, his junk down there, and all I kept thinking is these metal piercings... You're going into a fire. Now it gets hot in the fire. And guys who have their ears pierced will tell you, oh, my ear piercing will heat up. I know it's time to go. I'm like, yeah, that's your ear. Now your nether region down there starts going on fire. It's like, why would you want that if you're in this business?
Right.
Get out.
Right.
Stop doing that. Stop jamming holes where you don't need them.
Yeah, and this lady I know, I mean, she's funny, but like... I almost thought that was kind of brave to do that. I
Yeah.
Because I know a guy that has a I'll say penis ring. You know.
Oh God.
I'm like, I wouldn't want like a needle down there or anything.
I got one hole there. It's good. It works perfect. I don't want to. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you jam another one through. Now you're peeing like a sprinkler. Like nobody needs that.
But like you see like the women at the beach that have like tattoos on their chest and stuff. Do they come in and like they want their chest tattooed?
It's weird. Like I feel like what's strange is that more women come in and get tattoos in like these erogenous zones. I guess is that the right word?
Yeah.
But they're less likely to show you, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, years ago, like, women would come in and they'd want to get, like, a tattoo on their ankle and they would just take their pants off. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, what is happening here? But that was, like, the 80s, 90s. Like, people were, like, the crazier people would come in. But now girls will come in and they want to get a tattoo, like, in between their boobs or underneath it.
Right.
And they'll somehow manage to twist their clothing in, like, this origami fashion where you can't actually see anything. And
Right.
Not that I'm looking to see anything,
Right.
but it's like, why do you want these areas, but you're not going to show? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah,
Who's gonna see it?
it's a
just
damn
for that.
internet. I'll blame the internet for that.
Do you
one.
have? Obviously, I'm sure you do. You have people come in like after going out a night drinking. You know, they come in like.
Oh yeah, the drunks. So I have a bar next door to where I am
Oh, okay.
now, and we never had that years ago, which is weird. Like I never had the amount of people that come in drunk as I do now.
And they bleed more when they're drunk, right?
Well,
'Cause the
yeah,
blood-
I
the
mean, you
blood's
really
thinner or
can't
something?
tattoo them like most of the time. Like it all kind of depends. Like I know guys in the neighborhood that are always a little bit in. They always have a couple of beers in them, so it's not like you're tattooing them sober ever.
Right.
But there are some people that will come over from that bar and just be hammered,
Right.
like hammered. You're like, you have to go. I had a guy one time. He was so hammered when he came in that my friend was there to get tattooed, and he's a sober guy from AA. He's like, I'm gonna reschedule the tattoo. I gotta take this guy for a meeting or something. I'm like, what? Like, and he drove him home. He's like, this poor guy can't be around. He's gonna hurt himself. So yeah, no. But I try not to deal with the drunks because they're gonna move around in your chair. They're gonna cause you problems.
The one I can remember is and they didn't do it. It was a friend was going to get a squirrel running up one leg and then down the other leg with a nut in its mouth.
That's fun though. That's so much fun. Everyone's like,
Only
"Oh."
one nut.
Yeah, oh, dude, yeah.
Everyone's got us caught up in the whole tattoo has to have meaning thing. Like,
Right.
just get something dumb. Then you could look back on it and be like, remember that time I was living life? I was having fun that week. All right, cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's like some people are like, oh, this is the Chinese symbol for whatever, and nobody knows that.
Just make it up as you're going along. Who cares? I don't know. It all depends on your thing. I'm an old school guy. Pick it off the wall. I love painting that stuff. Pick it off the wall. It'd be great.
The one that stood out on your Facebook page that when I was looking at it was the eagle on the guy's chest.
Oh, chest eagles. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome, yeah.
Those used to be so popular in like the 1940s through like the 60s, but things kind of come and go, trends and all that. But I'm an old soul. I love like history
Looks
of
awesome.
tattooing. So
Yeah.
Old tattoos like that, clipper ships and daggers and
Yeah, I saw
roses,
those, yep.
and that's me. American traditional. I love that.
I'm trying to remember, like, do you do tattoo material on stage?
You know what? I'm trying to do more of it now because it's interesting to me. It's such a little weird niche kind of market.
Right.
And for what I do, it just seems like, why would you not talk about that in comedy? But strangely, I always kind of shied away from it, only for the fact that, like, I used to do tattoo jokes back when I was doing it the first go around, but then I would never know if I was doing well or not because afterwards, people would come up and we'd start talking about tattoos. And I'd be like, yeah, but was that a funny joke?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, but I want to get a tattoo of a rose. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if this was funny or if you just like me because I
Right.
tattoo now.
Right.
So I shied away from it, but now I'm kind of getting back into it. And
I work. I really couldn't write my stand up where I work because I work. I didn't
Right.
want to mix those two worlds. But what I would do is make up a profession. What's the word? Profession. Profession. Yeah.
Like landscaping or something.
Right. And I'd go up there and do a whole landscaping bit, and then I'd have other comics and people on Facebook and Tony asking me how to turn his sprinkler system on, and I don't know nothing about landscaping.
Right.
And it was just, I had to write about something.
no,
I couldn't write about my real job because it's personal stuff, and it was kind of put me in between a rock and a hard place,
that's so funny. No, I actually heard the story. I don't know if it's true. It could be just one of these comedy rumors, but I don't even know if I should say his name. This is a comic on the island that would go by, a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. And the story I was told, I got to ask him, was that he was at a show and somebody had an actual medical problem.
Yes. Yeah.
And
it's
he
true.
was like, I'm not actually a
I was
doctor.
there.
Yeah.
I was
You
there.
say it then?
It really happened. Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't know if he wanted us to talk about
I don't know
that
if he
or
wants
not.
us to
Yeah.
talk about
But I was
it,
like,
yeah.
how funny is that? Like, I'm a doctor. Like, actually, I'm not. It's just my stage persona.
Well, something similar happened. We did a show. I think Rich Walker was on the show, and Eric Hopp was on the show, and we did a show at a senior's place. And a guy had his pacemaker went off, and he had a heart attack in the middle of it. Yeah, and the guy lived and everything. So the story's funny now. Is that after the ambulance took the guy out, I think Rich or somebody came up and said, "Oh, yeah, we're killing it in here." I think it was Rob Chaffee. Rob Chaffee killed it.
Yeah.
That's Rob Chaffee.
Yeah.
I like Rob. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, but it's funny when you talk about real life stuff and then people want to talk about after the
They
show.
think you're really doing
No,
that.
but I mean, I love talking about tattooing and all that. I just, in the beginning, I was like, am I even getting the laughs? Like, I couldn't tell after I was done if it was good or not, But now I definitely want to do it more. I actually started doing a thing where, hopefully, if it all works out, we're still editing, doing like a YouTube series where I tattoo comics. And we video through the whole entire thing, me doing the tattoo and bantering with comics.
Yeah, that'd be interesting too.
So I think it'll be really cool. I think it's definitely going to work, but it's hard, because you're causing them pain, and you're like, hey, tell me something funny right now. How do you like that?
Comics don't want to pay for tattoos.
Yeah, and then I have to charge them at the end, which is weird. Like, hey, this is kind of charge you to come on my show. That's a racket right there. That would be good. That'd be fun.
And another one was I did a whole story on my childhood, and I enhanced it a lot. A lot of the stuff was true, but I just made it worse than what it was.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was funny. I got nice laughs and stuff. And when the show was over, it was a bouncer. It was here at Governor's. The bouncer, big guy, man. I forget his name.
Ozzy?
No, it was before. I think it was a couple of years before I met him. Long story short, the guy put his arm around me and started telling me about his own personal childhood stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, he's opening up to me, and I just bullshitted on stage. Like he's telling me some stuff. Some deep, dark secrets. Yeah. And half my shit was bullshit. So I was like,
I was doing this joke about like online dating and stuff, and it's really happened. I met this girl who was kind of nice, and first date she tells me she has herpes, right? So I'm like, how do I moonwalk out of this one? You know what I mean? So
at least she's honest though.
so I wrote material about it though. So, but after shows, I've got like old ladies coming up to like, I had crabs in 1975.
Right. They open up to you.
Yeah.
People open up to you.
Yeah, you got a bit out of it. That's always good.
Right. Yeah. But
so Tony, I'm sorry, I had my back to Tony, but you have any tattoos? I wanted to. Do you?
The only thing I consider a tattoo is on my my shell here. The on my prosthetic, I have the Mets logo.
Oh, do you?
That's the only thing.
On the shell. On the shell.
On the shell.
Yeah, okay, that's cool though.
That's
you get a lot of sports tattoos. A lot of people with sports.
Yeah, no, that's always been popular. Yeah, no, of
like
course.
Mets and Yankees.
Mets and Jets and Yankees and Knicks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
cool.
Sports. I think probably the NY, the Yankees NY is probably one of the bigger ones out here. Only because of the fact that it's New York, so even if you're not a baseball fan, they're like, it's still...
Right.
I don't know, I'm a Mets fan, so I'm a little like,
really? I'm a Mets.
Gotta go Mets.
Mets here.
This is Long Island. You gotta go Mets. It's Queens.
You know what's funny? I was going to ask you this. If you had this, I found that most of the, and not that I hate Yankees and I really care about the Rangers these days. As a kid, I hated the Rangers, but now I don't care. But most of our friends are Islanders and Mets. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Roach is awesome. He's a Ranger fan.
Right.
But I just found it weird that our whole group is Mets and Mets and Islanders.
Maybe because we're Long Island, though. Maybe that's why.
I feel like it also is it's the era of it too. I mean, what was it? 86 Mets and
80s Islanders.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like if you came from that
yeah,
age,
you're right.
They were the team. Like when I was growing up,
they were the champions.
I was born in 1980, so when I was growing up, like you rooted for the Mets. Everybody did. The Yankees. Yeah. Everybody hated the Yankees back then.
Right.
Now and then years later, it kind of changed a little bit. But I feel like that's
Derek Jeter changed it.
The greatest book ever is called The Bad Guys Won. It's about the Mets.
Right.
How like the whole league hated the Mets, and the Mets were just like the 86 Mets were the craziest, wildest party animal. like trashing the team plane stories and stuff.
We should have a field trip, Tony.
They didn't even need a plane. They just had cocaine. They flew through the sky on their own own jet streams.
Yeah. And they had the general manager was Frank Cashin, who was like this button-down, polite gentleman type guy. The bow tie. Yeah, he had the bow tie, Tony said, yeah. And Davey Johnson, who was kind of like let the boys be boys kind of attitude, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it was the Darryl Strawberry, Doc Gooden days, yeah.
Lenny Dykstra.
Gary the Kid Carter. They were all on drugs back then, every one of them.
Except for Carter, not Carter.
Yeah, no, Gary Carter was just high on life.
And Carter and Mookie.
Mookie.
Carter and Mookie used to complain to Cashin that they weren't paying because Cashin used to make them pay for damages.
Right.
And they used to complain. We didn't do it, we're not paying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, I don't know if it was Hernandez. Like, that might have been like, he kind of was more of, I think, partier in his Cardinals days. I don't know if he was. Yeah.
He seemed pretty straightforward, that guy.
He's still around, announcing and all that, yeah.
I was listening to classic Howard Stern the other day from like 1991, and Keith Hernandez was on. And he had left the Mets. It was like 90 or 91. And he was trashing the Cleveland Indians because he went to the Indians. And I was just assuming the whole time that his contract was up. No, he was about to go into his second season with the Indians. And he was he was like, yeah, we have no chance of winning a World Series. Like, he was saying stuff like that on the show.
Wow, could you imagine?
I mean, how do you go back into the clubhouse?
Yeah, right?
Which I don't think he really did. I don't think he played much.
That's poor. That's your school. You gotta stay true to your school.
That's your family, man.
Yeah,
that's your temporary family.
But that's also why he's great, because he was that candid. It made the interview interesting. Right.
Spoke his mind. So, yeah, Tony, I was thinking just now, maybe we could do a governor's Mets, what is it called? What did I just say?
A field trip?
Field trip.
We are way ahead of you, pal.
Oh, you're doing it?
We're already in discussions.
Yeah.
And it's been in discussions with this gentleman right here.
Maybe I'm a mind reader or something.
In fact, I was just talking to Les Deegan today, and I brought it up to him, and because it's Chris and myself and Eric Tartaglione have been talking about it and talking about getting together for a game, and we've been mentioning Les. So I brought it up to Les today. He said he's in, so I think you got to come. You got to come.
Yeah, that's cool.
I bet you. I'm sure Don will come.
Yeah.
Somebody did a trip last year. I think it was John LaRocchia.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Because I feel like Eric and Les were there.
I have a close friend of mine came to me probably like four years ago or so, and she goes, I went to this Met game. She goes, I had these guys right next to me. She goes, they were the funniest guys in the world. So she asked them at the end if they were comedians, and it turned out it was Keegan.
Oh,
he was there with some other comedians. I want to say Downey, but I don't know if that's right. But it was Keegan and some other guys, and my friend said she was just laughing the whole game, the whole time. So we're gonna plan that this summer, right?
Fun.
Yeah, we definitely gotta do that.
A lot of fun.
We've got this is a bad story, but our friend
Mike Dillon
is not doing well now, but. He would always come with us, and we would have him in the wheelchair. So we would park right in front.
Yeah,
we'd have
parking.
We'd have using him to your advantage.
We'd have bad seats. They'd move us right behind home plate and stuff.
Yeah, he didn't want to go, but we begged him. Like, come on, Mike, you got to go.
Mike liked to go, but it was just. It was,
I lived that life too with the prosthetic. People always ask me, we go to a game, you're going to drive, right? Because I get the best parking spots, I get the best seats.
Fake friends. I went to the Islander game last night, and it was raining out. And it's like $35 to park, but that wasn't the problem. You have to get out of your car and walk to a bus and then wait 20 minutes. I love the Islanders. Once you're inside the UBS arena, once you're in there, it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. The game was awesome, but everything before that, it's horrible, man.
Yeah, the parking was really bad, right?
Yeah, I got two daughters, and we're getting soaked out in the rain waiting for a bus. Every 20 minutes, a bus is coming. And then when we were leaving, the guy said, it's a half-hour wait for a bus. It's 10 minutes to walk back to your car. So we walked,
Oh, okay. So it's not the train to the bus to the stadium? Or
you drive to the stadium, and you park, and then there's shuttle buses take you to the stadium.
Oh, but I heard if you take the train,
and you're paying like $35. It should be free parking.
Insane.
Maybe $10 to park,
Yeah.
But I hate to bash the Islanders, but they'll work it out, hopefully, work something out. I don't know how, but you can't control the weather.
I think they messed up. They should have renovated the Coliseum in Uniondale.
Definitely. I was telling my son, I'm like, if we went to the Islander game, we'd be sitting there eating hot dogs right now. We wouldn't be standing here waiting for a bus getting soaked. But
yeah. I used to work across the street on Hempstead Turnpike, so I'd just leave my car in the parking lot.
The EAB arena there where the Christmas tree is?
I would just walk across the street. It was great. It was great.
Back in the day, I used to ride my bike there. I used to live in Levittown.
Yeah, I mean, we used to take the bus. I grew up in West Hempstead. We would take the bus to Uniondale on game days and meet players, like in the Marriott. Like, we met like Wayne Gretzky and
Because
stuff.
it was right next door there.
Yeah.
Smart. Now they want to turn it into a casino or something. There's something dumb.
Where, that area?
Yeah, that's what I heard. How are they going to sustain a casino? Well, if you consider Jake's 58 a casino, I don't know how they're going to do that.
I don't like the electric casinos.
No,
I
because
like
you
a
need
dealer.
actual dealers that you can yell at. And,
Right.
You know, they get mad and they tell you, like, you can't put your hands over that line. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm drinking.
So a friend, real quick, my friend was telling me today, he's like, what you got to do is you got to go to a diner in Franklin Square, get dinner before the game, and then take an Uber to the Islander game. Leave and then take an Uber
in the diner.
From the diner, you go to Franklin Square for dinner. Have dinner. You know, it'd be cheaper to have dinner there than
Right.
And then call an Uber and have them leave your car at the diner. Uber takes you to UBS Arena.
Right.
You get right in front of the place. You don't have to wait for a bus. And then they'll take you back afterwards, back to the...
But then you have to try to get an Uber afterwards. There might be like 1,000 people trying to get an Uber.
If you try to keep that guy somehow, maybe it would be worth $50, you know, because it's $50 to park anyway on a Saturday.
Sporting events and concerts, there's so much money nowadays.
Yep.
Just to see like nothing.
You
It's
don't
in terrible
want
places.
You don't want. I shouldn't even say this. My daughter's Sweet 16 was Tuesday, and I'm trying to, you know. Can you guess what I bought her? We're talking about concerts. What's the most expensive concert right now?
Swift?
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel!
It's insane.
It's crazy.
How much?
I can't even say.
Over 1,000?
Want to hear something funny though? If I was to turn around and sell them right now, I'd make $1,500.
It's unbelievable.
If I
that
sold
people
them,
pay 15 over whatever it is. That's insane.
I could make $1,500 right now, and then tell them we'll go on vacation somewhere because I paid with what's that called, fees and all that crap, 27.
2,700?
27. No,
total.
two kids. But the thing is that I was going to go for the $900 ones, but should be like seeing the back of a head. The view, they show you the view on StubHub.
Yeah.
It'd be the back of a head. You know, I mean, like, you can't
should
do
be
that.
you should be on stage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I saw Springsteen tickets, and I was like, no, I don't care. I don't care what he does.
Right.
Like
Not going.
A band like Def Leppard, right? I know we told
$50.
About that.
No.
I mean, the tickets are a couple $100, but you can do a backstage VIP meet and greet for like $1,500.
Right.
It's cheaper than those Taylor Swift tickets.
I'm trying to get my daughters into Foreigner. They're playing at the beach this summer, and they're like $12 seats. Jukebox Hero. Come on, Jukebox Hero. Forget about
It's gonna
Shake
be
It.
great.
Shake It Off or Jukebox Hero.
Yeah, this is their final tour because Mick
Foreigner?
Jones is going to retire.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is talk that they might keep going though without him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, 'cause most people don't know who these guys are on the stage anyway.
Yeah.
You get them into tribute bands or go to free concerts in the park.
Well, I did that to my wife for the longest time. You know, we're going to see all these tribute bands. People making fun of me. You go see Pink Floyd, Laser Show, and
Right.
You can't afford to take her to see Roger Waters. I'm like,
Long
I
Island
get her
has-
drunk enough. She doesn't even know.
You just get high in places. You're right there with us.
I spend all my money on wine. You know,
A lot of the big bands are becoming kind of cover bands.
well,
now,
Lynyrd
though.
Skynyrd's now officially a cover band.
No more.
Yeah.
No more originals.
Who was the last one? Was Gary Rossington? No, who
Yeah,
died?
he
just
there?
passed
Yeah,
away.
he just died last month.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was always just crazy that they were still going after all this time.
Right.
You know, and was it which one? One of the Van Zandt brothers was the lead singer, right?
Yes.
It's
Johnny.
insane.
Johnny Van Zandt.
Johnny Van Zandt. I see them whenever they come around. I love the guitar solo to Freebird. You'll never see anything like that again live, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling my kids that. Billy Joel 2 nights ago, right? Who else can do what Billy Joel's doing? What artist right now can ever get to that point?
Mike Del Giudice, remember? This is the wildest thing that you have a guy that literally covers Billy Joel, and he only does it about 40 minutes away from where Billy Joel's playing.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Okay, I saw him on Mulcahy's.
Well, yeah, he's like, I was at the Paramount one night 'cause my sister's like, I want to go see the Billy Joel tribute, Big Shot. Okay, fine. And he's great. He's phenomenal.
Kicks ass.
But I'm like, we're literally seeing him, and about an hour away, Billy Joel's at the Garden, and I'm like, this is crazy. And now Billy Joel I don't know if he's lazy or brilliant, but he has that guy come out and do some of his songs when he gets tired.
Yeah, he's in the band now. He's like a full
he's
member of the band.
Second guitar player, second vocalist.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I'm just, I'm gonna take a couple minutes. I'm gonna take a leak real quick while Mike does my songs.
He had,
Still getting paid while I'm taking a piss.
I think the other night he had ZZ Top come out.
Yes.
One of the
Wow,
guys from
okay.
ZZ Top,
Billy
yeah.
Gibbons, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who died from that?
The bass player, Dusty.
Dusty.
Yeah.
Dusty Hill.
Hill.
So yeah, when Mike Del Judas plays at Mulcahy's, what's great is he does other songs too. He does Elton John.
Yeah.
One time I saw him, he did Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, I think.
Does Dream On a lot.
Led Zeppelin, rock and roll.
Right.
He plays
But-
Led Zeppelin with Billy, I think.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. But I see your point. Who's gonna who now would get to that level where you could do a residency at MSG? Like
Right. Who's going to
I don't know
ever,
if there's
nobody. You know, it's like, I want to take my daughters to see Billy Joel. I don't mind spending whatever it is because that's never going to happen ever again.
But I don't know. I'm inclined to agree, but we're older. Like I'm thinking, the 20-year-olds they might have somebody like a Taylor Swift,
Harry Styles,
or maybe even
Mars.
John Mayer,
Right,
Bruno Mars, where
It could happen.
maybe when they get to when those artists get to the 50s or 60s, maybe they could.
Right, it could.
It's
happen.
funny, like a guy like Bruno Mars. I'm like, I'm not a fan. Then I went to win the Super Bowl, and I go, he's not bad.
He's a talented dude,
yeah,
man,
he's
Uptown
talented.
Funk.
Yeah. Like,
and he's got a band,
yeah,
Silver or something maybe.
yeah.
They're good.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great songs. I
Maybe
think 24K is a good one.
Maybe
too.
more like 80. Lady Gaga's doing a residency. And,
Right.
Lady Gaga's pretty talented.
She is.
I wasn't a big fan of her stuff. I'm still not a huge fan, but she can sing. And if you saw, what was the movie that she was in?
Stars? No.
Star is
Star is Born.
Yeah, Star is Born.
She's phenomenal in that. And two, like getting, on comedy, Andrew Dice Clay as her father.
He was
Right.
great.
I had no idea for like the first minute. I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the Dice Man.
Yeah.
That was an amazing performance on his part.
And even Dave Chappelle as his friend. in the
Randomly
movie.
in there, there was a lot of
Randomly in there.
cameos. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Really good.
Yeah, we'll have some star in the future that'll definitely do the garden type thing.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't know who, though. That's the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
It won't be some guy from Hicksville who had a piano in his living room.
You know what? It takes you so many years. It used to take, we're talking about comedy being overnight success now. It used to be like you were doing it for 20 years before you got anywhere. So it was like it slowly built up over time. Same thing with music, and so you'd hear about a star for years and years getting built up. Now it's like they're huge and famous, and then the next day, like nobody wants to hear that. It's garbage. It's
Right.
trash.
As a DJ, every month I get the top 20 songs.
Right. It's probably faster turnover than
It's
before.
like last month's is gone now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy that there's no like classics.
Yeah.
So so there's no artist that kind of keeps on coming. Taylor Swift maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean, Taylor Swift. Yeah, there is songs. There'll be like the Cha Cha Slide will come out and still popular
Right.
now. The song Low by Flo Rida is still popular, but Flo Rida came out with like 20 songs after the song Low, and Low is the one they're still asking me for that one.
Yeah, that I hear you. Like, for us, it was the 70s, right? All these Skinner and all these great bands. And there doesn't seem to be an equivalent now for these young guys, but maybe there will be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Aerosmith was popular from like the 70s all the way. Even still now, they're still relevant, and I just don't see that. You know what I mean? Like, so I listened to them, my mom listened to them, and that's the kind of stuff that would go on for years.
You're right. If I do a block party and I put on Sweet Home Alabama, the whole block is singing Sweet Home Alabama.
Right. Everyone knows Skinner forever.
And if I put on As It Was by Harry Styles, the little girls are singing,
Right. I wonder if a band's going to last 20, 30 years more. I mean, the Rolling Stones, my God, how long were they a band before, was it Ron Wood died? Right.
Charlie Watts.
Charlie Watts. Jesus, I'm just killing people that don't even die yet.
Ron Wood's still kicking.
I'm not dead.
Going.
But yeah, I mean, think about that. Like, I don't know, is any band that's going on now or in the last 10 years going to be that band? They're not going to be like a Michael Jackson, a Madonna.
Or the key word is also real band.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Real band,
It's
without
not
any of this
audio-tuner.
computer stuff.
Well, how about when we talk about Billy Joel? The guy hasn't released new music in 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's touring on his classic stuff. There's nothing new.
I wonder stuff. This is a bizarre thought, but I was wondering stuff like that. Like, how did the Beatles do what they did? How did Billy Joel do what he did in that time zone? How did the Honeymooners do what they did? It's all different entertainment.
Right.
How'd that happen? And then it couldn't be repeated? It can't be repeated.
Gatekeepers are gone, which is kind of a blessing and a curse. Like when I was a kid growing up, there was only a few forms of music that I had. It was what my parents listened to, and what the kids at school listened to, and maybe some random cousin or someone turned me on to something else. But it was always had to be somebody turning me on. So, that's what you grew up with. You listened to hip hop or you listened to metal, and that was all you had. You got the radio. But now, you could listen to anything. You could find some kid that lives in the Midwest and all he wants to listen to is gangster hip hop, which never would have happened in the 80s.
He would never get it. Yeah, he would never. Right.
So now, you could be like, I listen to like Pentecostal Christian ska music. Like, what, that exists? Like, that's it. Because the internet has it that way. So there's just so many more talented people, but because there's so many more talented people, there's just too much of it. You know what I mean? So now, what's the era of music now? It used to be like you had like, okay, this is the funk era, this is the disco, this is the southern rock. What do we have now?
What's the era of music?
There is none, because there's nobody can keep the gate. It's whatever becomes popular, and tomorrow everyone hates it. And
rock's been marginalized too, like in award shows and stuff. Like, rock's not. It's more hip hop and that type stuff.
They keep rock out. I always hear like the Super Bowl the halftime show. People would love to see like AC/DC or they want to see because they play that stuff in in the stadiums. They play heavy metal in the stadiums, like Welcome to the Jungle, and what I'm saying. They play all the songs to pump up the crowd. But then at the Super Bowl halftime show, you watch and there's nothing wrong with it. Whoever they have.
How great was like Tom Petty at the Super Bowl halftime?
That was awesome.
One of the best ones.
Michael Jackson, I thought was awesome. I'm not a huge Michael Jackson. Did
anybody see Chris Stapleton do the Star Spangled Banner?
Yeah.
Yes.
I went back and watched it again, and it's the Star Spangled Banner. Let's be honest, it's not on our iPod. It's on mine now. After that, but I was watching that, and there were football players crying.
Yes,
that's crazy.
Very emotional rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
That's also like you're at the height of your. Like you're a football player, and now you're in the Super Bowl, and then that guy comes out in front of you, and
that guy's a talented musician. Though. That guy's an actual musician, singer. Like, and we were talking about earlier, like electronic, everything is just audio tune, Pro Tools. Like, no, he's a pro. So maybe
a lot of those country guys are like '80s rock now, '90s rock. The country, like the Jason Aldeans and stuff.
Yeah,
Tim McGraw sounds like.
Yeah, I was listening to this guy Sturgill Simpson, and he explained it because he's a country guy, but. What he said was like what happened with pop country was in the 80s, 90s when alternative and grunge came on, Alice in Chains and all that. They saw the writing on the wall. They were like, "There's no more Motley Crue, no more hair metal bands," and then they started to transition to Nashville. So you'll kind of even see it with what's that one song? Every Rose Has its Thorn, Poison. That's a country song. Yeah. And you look at it, you're like, oh, they started the transition. So that's when after that, all those producers went and started producing like. Garth Brooks in the 90s, you're like, wait, this is like a metal stage show. He's running all over the place in his pyrotechnics. Yeah. So it kind of, you're right. It totally is all that stuff kind of reinvented.
Going back to tattoos, do you do a lot of bands? Like, I would love to get Dark Side of the Moon.
Like band cover. Logos and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. Dark Side of the Moon was the one with the prism?
Yes.
That is the prism one. Yeah, I've done that a few times. That's tough because it's literally every color.
Right.
It's like, would you like every color? Like, yes, I want the rainbow. Like, But Led Zeppelin tattoos are always really
Led Zeppelin's awesome,
popular. Dark Side of the Moon, sorry, I screwed that up.
Led Zeppelin. I even thought of Led Zeppelin, though. Led Zeppelin.
Dark Side was Pink Floyd. Led Zeppelin was, why do I confuse those two together? But a lot of those guys, a lot of those logos. Tattoos.
Where's the most popular area for a tattoo? Like on the arm? Like where would you get?
Generally, your arms. Arms and legs have always been, I think, the most popular areas. Just the side of your arm, side of your leg, stuff like that. Everyone keeps trying to reinvent the wheel and make it harder now. They're like, I want it on my rib cage, and I'm like, there's a reason why your grandfather fought in the World War II, but didn't have his rib cage tattooed. Because it hurts.
What's the most sensitive spot? A wrist?
I would definitely say areas like just any area that you don't smack into things on a regular basis.
I heard the ankle is bad.
Your ankle bone area is kind of tough. I mean, I think the inside of your arm, like inside, like towards your armpit, your rib cage. No, I mean like your outside of your arm, your actual regular arm is fine, but like your armpit, your kneecap, elbows, those areas are tough. It all depends on the person too. Your stomach, that's pretty painful. I mean, just think about pinching certain areas. If you pinch it and you're like, that actually hurts. Like, yeah.
I feel like a stomach tattoo would be expensive for me, you know? Like, you have to cover a lot of area.
Right, yeah.
Be like painting a
You should do
house.
this with bowling ball fingers.
Just the other two. Oh, it's good.
Sorry, Chris.
Fun.
It's all good fun.
I may be using that next weekend.
Yeah, you just met Rob White. You have him tattoo bowling ball fingers on your stomach. That's a good line. So you have anything you want to plug or anything?
Let's see. Hold on.
I know you have. I know now these shows are sold out. So I know on your site I saw the Yacht Club coming up.
A couple of ones recently. Yeah, I got that coming up with
Babylon Yacht Club.
With it's the Stevie G
Oh,
show.
I did that yacht club. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's very
Babylon,
nice. Yeah.
I should probably
really
dust
nice.
off my old sailor outfit or some shit and go there.
That would
but-
fly there. Yeah, it's a good venue.
Yeah, I got a lot of random stuff coming up. I mean, I do have the Babylon Yacht Club. That's on the 31st. Probably the next big thing that would be pushing would be the McGuire's on April 22nd.
What day of the week is that?
I believe that is
It's a Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Saturday night. I think it's the late show on Saturday.
Saturday,
the
April 22nd, McGuire's.
Yeah, that's the Terry McNeely birthday show. So
Oh,
that's
nice. Terry's
that's a good
awesome.
one. We're on the Govs podcast. We push the Govs shows, right? Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely the next one. I would say if anybody's listening, go for that. Support the.
So the late show is what time?
I believe that's a 10 o'clock, 10:30 show.
You know, 10.
It's usually 10.
I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I have to get the actual. I should have had this prepared. I didn't.
No,
think.
it's all right, man.
Usually I think and I don't think. But yeah, no, I got a bunch of random stuff. I got to go and do a show at a university in New Jersey. I got to go do a Saratoga Tattoo Convention. I think I'm going to do some comedy up at the convention.
Oh,
so
really?
That might be kind of fun.
Really?
See how that
Saratoga's
goes.
fun. It's a good spot.
They got the Comedy Works over
Yeah.
there too, which I messaged them, so we'll see if they get back because I'm still like in that nobody stage of things. Like who?
Right.
Rob White? Who? Like yeah.
Well, hey, listen, thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you for
really,
having me.
Really
Appreciate it.
nice to meet you. Did we ever meet before? That's a weird question.
No,
right?
just going back and forth through Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
Facebook is weird because I told you, I say this all the time, is that you think you feel like you know somebody through Facebook.
No, it's true.
We never actually met,
Yep,
but I kind of know who you are through Facebook.
You follow all the stuff and everything. Yeah.
Did a show Friday night. This lady walks up to me. She goes, "Hey, Chris, I forgot her name. You don't know me, but we're friends on Facebook."
Right.
Like she friended me after another show she saw.
Right.
So I've never met her, but we're Facebook friends.
You just get a little worried sometimes. You're like, "Are you okay? You still it might be cool."
Right.
I made some things private on my Facebook page. Hopefully you didn't see it.
That's the best. Darren Dillon, when he was on Long Island, I remember he had a bit about he was depressed because his stalker stopped following him. Like, he checked his emails. Like, where is she? You know?
Well, I had someone who I thought maybe passed away. It was a woman who didn't look too healthy, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, she goes, "Hey, kiddo, how you doing?" Like 2 days ago. I'm like, "Oh, I'm glad you're still alive."
Terrible. Does she know how bad she looks? Like, I don't know.
So, well, thank you for coming out.
Thank
definitely
you, absolutely.
check out the Black Duck Tattoo Company.
Yep, that is me.
If I get my guts up, I'm not nervous. It's not that I'm nervous. It's just I know it's the icebreaker. Once I do it, man, you'll be like, he's back.
the floodgates.
back.
For the whole biker persona.
Yeah,
you
I
really get one.
I don't know. I never got one, but I definitely will start.
Yeah,
probably
come
with the
on down.
the mom tattoo, maybe something in that category.
A nice piece
Thank you,
of
Chris,
mine.
for coming out and being the co-host
It's
tonight.
fun.
Good to see you again.
Always good. Always
Thank you,
fun.
Tony.
Like, pal.
Thank you for coming out, and thank you everybody for tuning in to Good Times, Bad Times. Rob White, comedian, April 22nd, the Late Show at McGuire's Comedy Club. Come down, and I'll be there. I will be there. I don't know about you because you're working.
Working. I'm on the road in April.
I'm working a communion that day, 1 to 5. So I'll be there.
Communion comedy.
Yeah, right. Going from one transition to the other. Yeah. As a DJ, it's funny. I was telling someone the other day. I'll tell you real quick. I was doing a party. I started off with the Hokey Pokey. I was doing a kids party, and later that night I had a seniors party. So I went from the Hokey Pokey to like Frank Sinatra's New York, New York. I went from the age of 3 to the age of 102.
You don't want seniors doing the hokey pokey. They're going to throw something out.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
I threw my back out. But thank you guys. Good times, bad times. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.